All right, it's time, and it's only good vibes. Only good vibes. These are all going to be winners. I'm going to read them all. It's going to be great. I'm going to want reading, manifesting good vibes. Lots of good spooky books on this, but it's also not just spooky. It's a bunch of other stuff. I think it's going to be actually like a really good blending of things. And last year, October was a win. So this year, I think October is going to be a win. I'm feeling way better at the start of October than I did the start of September. So like, I think the mental health might cooperate. We'll see. So I'm just remembering I forgot another book. So there's 10 books on this TBR, and it's definitely going to get overwhelming. Let's start with the things I'm reading for the TBR spin wheel that Freshly Read Books does, which I did decide this is going to be my readathon for the Herked project, which I started Herked video. One is, this is the first time where I haven't read the book in the month in which it was spun. I did start it, but that's More Perfect by Temio. I have read the first 66 pages. I would like to read more of this. There is no audiobook. Did you guys know there's no audiobook for this? I would have bought the audiobook, but I couldn't find it on Libro FM, on Audible, in Hoopla, at the library. I don't see an audiobook. They did not make an audiobook of this. Sad. So this is, I think, an Orpheus and Eurydice retelling, near future sci-fi, and things have gone down. Like a climate disaster has happened very early in this book. And we have two characters. Moremi has been getting this implantation that's kind of like an augmented reality that really late in life. And then Orpheus, who's just called Orpheus, has never grown up around people or technology, and his dad's always been cagey, and we don't know why. That's all I know. I would like to read more of this. I really liked Do You Dream of Terror 2, which is the same author. So that was one. And then, of course, we spun the wheel for October. And I think the prompt was like a gift from somebody. And luckily, like 2 of the books on there were gifts. So I just got to pick the one I wanted to for October, which is My Best Friend's Exorcism. Hopefully my first, hopefully not my last, Grady Hendrix book. I'm obsessed with this cover. Like, everything about the fake distressed look VHS tape cover is everything to me. It looks like it's going to be campy and pulpy, which I love. So that's all I know. I figured this was the Grady Hendrix cover I loved the most. This was the one where it seemed to have the vibes that I want the most. So I'm hoping this is the winner. So those are my TBR spin books. And I want to read both of them. I have owned both of them for a while. I got this for my birthday last year, and I don't know when last year I got this, but I got this from Boston. So this is Brookline Booksmith. This was Loganberry Books. So then, let's go to Buddy Reads in my Patreon. It's time for The Sovereign by C.L. Clarke. Am I ready? I don't think I'm ready, but I'm also ready. Oh, am I ready? This is one of those books where I have it on the TBR because it is the Buddy Read. But if I need to push it, I might push it a little bit to early November because I won't be talking with the author until November. So I feel like I have a tiny bit more wiggle room. But that said, from just like a reader perspective, I would like to know how this trilogy ends. Like, I would like to know, how are we getting out of the problems that we're in? Yeah, very interested in that. Want to learn more about the magic, want to see how the politics unfurl, want to understand this cover. What is this scene, guys? What is this? I don't know, but I want to. And our other buddy read is, we kind of pick a standalone haunting horror book. At least last year we read The Good House, which I loved. So this year we're reading The Reformatory by Tananari Due. They're both Tananari Due. I know this one's heavier by like a lot. Like, it's a heavy book. Like, it's a big book. And I'm not going to be able to get the audiobook because I was silly and I forgot to request it. And now there's like 8 weeks. So I could spend a credit on it if I want to, but I probably won't have an issue reading this with my eyeballs. So yeah, The Reformatory, I know that this is like, so The Good House is like campy. It's a haunting, it's paranormal, there's possessions. I think this is very grounded, and sometimes the horrifying parts are like the thematic, like, societal horrors more so, paired with some supernatural. So, because I know I have one coworker who has read The Good House, and they had to pause this because it was just like too hard for them. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I've had this. We went to New Orleans earlier this year in March, and I bought it there. So I'm very excited to get to this. Where does it even take place? I don't even know. Does it even tell me? Jim Crow South. So there's a bunch of states that meet that requirement. So that's another Patreon buddy read that I'm excited for. I guess I'll just show you guys the last book on my physical TBR that I want to read, and it's a very new acquisition, and it makes me so happy. Mainly because I love that the publishers keep using this type of fabric for them. But this is The Possession of Alba Diaz. I'm just so excited. It's the new Isabel Cañas. I haven't read it yet. It's obviously a possession story, right? Like, I don't know anything else about it. I don't need to know anything else. All right. The last 2 books I've read from her were 5 stars. So as long as this is at least a 4-star, I'm going to have a great time. And then I have to figure out how to handle my shelf, because this is where my Isabel Cañas are. And then like Lone Woman usually goes there, and I don't even know if this will fit. I keep pretending like these shelves are a problem, and they are, but I have new shelves coming soon. Carpenters take the time carpenters are going to take, but Dream Library incoming. But that said, I still would like all these to be together, and I'm very excited to read this. I don't know if I'll read it physically or not. I actually read the other 2 audio. I just love owning them, and I think they're pretty, and I bought this from Hexagon Books, so I could support Hexagon Books, and I had a $5 coupon. Okay, so that's, I think, all of my spooks books. Those are all the spooky books, and my physical TBR books, and my obligations. So the rest are truly, like, vibes, and some of them I'm just in the middle of. So the only one left for the TBR that I'm not actually already in the middle of is Paladin of Souls, which is the chronological sequel to The Curse of Chalion. I just want to read Bejeweled. I want to have wins. I want only wins. And Bejeweled doesn't miss for me. Doesn't miss for me. I'm getting into the space where I'm like, when is too early to start my reread of Virgos again? But this follows, I think, a very competent female character, a la Cordelia, and like, yes. Yes. So now, I'm in the middle of the rest of the books I'm going to talk about. Witcher 4, which isn't great, but I'm getting better. I used to be in the middle of 6 books, so like, improvements. I'm probably going to start like on my Bluesky and Instagram every once in a while when I do have like a day where I can read, like trying to do some like accountability, like in the live moment updates. It was kind of fun for me. I did that on Sunday on both my Instagram and my Bluesky. So if you follow me on either of those, hopefully you didn't hate it. And if you don't follow me on either of those, feel free. I don't know if I have my Bluesky written down below. If not, I'll try to remember, but if not, it's just Literature Science Alliance or Lit Sci Alliance. It's whatever my handles normally are. And you'll see the same picture that you always do of my face. So let's talk about it, though. The one that's my priority physical read right now is Discount Armageddon by Seanan McGuire, because my coworker bullied me. I'm kidding. It was a peer pressure thing that I started. She's read the book. I am 40-some% of the way into the book. I would like to read it more, but what is time? And I don't have the audiobook because they're Audible exclusive. And I even have Audible credits, but I don't want to get invested in an Audible exclusive series that is like 16 books long. I don't want that. I'm a little annoyed about that. So it has to be eyeballs, which isn't even bad. It's just that, like, where's the time? What's this about? She is part of a family that is responsible for, like, cryptids live among us, right? So it's one of those classic urban fantasies where it's like there's the secret monster world and the real world, and her family is taking it upon themselves to find a balance. They're against this other group who's just pro killing every cryptid no matter what, and she's a ballroom dancer. Which the ballroom research has been like, it's been pretty good. Like there was a whole paragraph discussing the difference between smooth and standard dance, which if you're in ballroom, you know what that means. And if you're not in ballroom, you're like, well, what are you talking about, Angela? But it's like, that was cool. Like American versus international. And then with international, you got Latin and standard. So that was fun. I just need to get back to it. So that's the primary physical read. The other physical read I would like to get back to is Remember You Will Die. What I want to ask is, I know some people have read this book. Did any of you read the audiobook? Is the audiobook still a good experience? Because I'm not necessarily against it, but it feels so mixed media-y that I feel like The audio, if I don't have the text nearby, that I'm going to miss some of the puzzly nature, and I really like the puzzly nature of this one. I don't even really know what's happening. I've read like 20% of it. And we're reading a bunch of obituaries and sometimes definitions, and there's obviously something connecting all of these obituaries together. Like, there's a reason why I'm being shown the obituaries I'm being shown, but I don't see the bigger picture yet. But I love that. So I don't want to lose that by doing audiobook. But if I am also losing it if I just don't have time to read it, right? Like, that's also a thing. And I would like to get to it. And also, like, obituaries, like, it's like a literary thing, feels very fall. It works for me. And then, let's see. This is an audiobook I'm listening to because my bookstore, Hexagon Books, it's not my bookstore, but the bookstore I go to, Hexagon Books, is having a book club at the end of October for this book, which is called The Impusium. I don't know what that means. It's a translated book, so this is great because it's Polish, so it can be used for my translation square in Herked because I need 5 books from different languages, so easy. I have read another one of her books. I didn't love the book, not because I didn't like the book, but because I didn't like the main character. This was the author of Drive Your Plow Through the Something Something, blue book with like the birch trees on the cover. And so I've read a little bit of this, like a good chunk. I think it's hard to listen to because of its formatting, but it's very interesting. So it's historical, literary, unsure if there's supernatural elements thus far. The main thing we're observing is a person who's younger, 20s, suffering from tuberculosis, going to one of those places that basically existed for rich people to recover from tuberculosis. And we're just meandering about. And things have happened that are very odd, and we have a lot of very odd thoughts about women, and like it's purposefully meant to be odd. The book itself is not like pro these weird thoughts about women. It's very obvious that this is satire. So yeah, historical, literary, interesting. So I'm putting it on pause for now though, because I can pretty much get this from the library whenever, and it wasn't like I wasn't quite feeling it in my headspace. And Libro FM, which is a great audiobook subscription service. I'm part of their advanced reader copy group thing. ACL, is that what it's called? And it's October 1st. And I got to see the audiobooks. And they had the new Tasha Suri. So I first checked, is this the same audiobook narrator as the Jasmine Throne? And it was. Which I love the Burning Kingdoms on audio. I really do. I love it physically. I love it on audio. And so I was like, well, I have the arc of it. I have the digital arc. And I want to read it because I like Tasha Suri. But I was like, I didn't know when this was going to happen. I didn't have it remotely slotted into my plans. I was just like, it'll happen when it happens. And I guess it's happening because I started it today. So this is the only book that I'm in the middle of that I started in October. And it's so interesting. And it kind of fits into like, so fall for me has a lot of like things that I associate with it. And one of those things is kind of classic medieval fantasy. When I am sometimes feeling medieval fantasy, it is typically the fall. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I read The Last Wish in the fall once. But here we are. It is time. This is so interesting. So what I've gathered thus far is this is a land where stories perpetually live on and get reincarnated into other people. And our leads are people who are part of a tragic love story. One's a knight and one's a witch. And they're both women, so it's very sapphic. And what I'm loving is that I'm learning about this world and I don't know what's happening. And the tragedy, I'm so ready for a tragedy. Oh, I'm ready. Like, yes. So between that and the Sovereign, let's see who breaks me first. But, because the Sovereign doesn't look like it's about to be happy either. But those are the plans. Now, can I read 10 things in 31 days? I'm in the middle of some of them. Unsure. We will try. And by we, I mean me. I would like to. I would like to be able to do these things. But time will tell. Let me know what you're reading, doing, watching. Are you reading any spooky books you're excited for, or any of your other fall reads? Are there any new releases that I've talked about that you're excited for? There are other new releases that come out in October that I would love to read. Do I have time? No. But I'm excited to maybe get to them later. So there's that. If you just want to leave an emoji, though, to let me know you're here, leave a sword for the knights in, what is it called? The Isle in the Silver Sea. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!